to evaluate the tape, your thoughts on the USF game?
Well, I thought that was a physical football game. I thought we matched their physicality, and that was key going in. We knew they were a little bit bigger than we were, and up front. I think on both sides of the ball we matched it. We played physical ourselves. Defensively, I thought we played well. We played very hard. Guys were flying around the field. I love seeing that. Made some big plays on defense. It wasn't perfect. We made some mistakes, and our guys know that. We can get better. Got lucky a couple times. Gave up a long touchdown pass on a busted assignment. So there's still a lot of room for improvement on the defensive side of the ball. But I was proud of how hard they played, especially. Offensively, I saw 2 drives, maybe 3, where we were the offense where I think we can be. We were executing. We were running the ball. We were throwing the ball efficiently, and Quez was making good decisions. There were other glimpses of that offense throughout the game, but we continue to hurt ourselves with stupid penalties, missed assignments, things like that are just drive killers. So I think Brian gave me the breakdown. Out of the 59 offensive plays, 19 we had some sort of mistake on that cost us. And the pessimist in me, is very frustrated by that. The optimist in me tells me that those are very easy mistakes to fix. It's not like we're not capable of making the block, or we're not fast enough, or whatnot. It's those are things that are easily fixable and can really help us on the offensive side of the ball.
How does that 19 compare to the previous 2 games?
A little bit better, actually. So the improvement is there, and it showed. When we weren't hurting ourselves, we were moving the football in that game against a defense going in that I thought was very talented and very strong, and showed it in the Michigan State game. And their physicality up front was a concern for me. So I was very excited about our ability to run the ball at times.
What do you see as a ceiling for this defense? How big can it be?
As good as they want to be, as fast as they can improve. I think, I said it going in, I think we're deep up front, which is huge. We're playing 10 guys, 11 guys on the defensive front throughout the course of a game. We're experienced and talented at the linebacker position, and our defensive backs are really coming into their own as a unit. So we need to keep getting better, and they need to keep pushing themselves, because we got the potential to be an awfully good defense.
You've talked a lot over the last year about them, more of just learning the system. Are we to the point where that's 100%? Is there still more to go? And now we're seeing the physical ability and the talent come out because they're learning the system?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're playing faster because they understand the scheme better. I think they're playing with more confidence. I think we're able to mix up some zones and man and keep offenses guessing a little more than we were able to a year ago, and that's helped us. We're a better pressure team and movement team than we were a year ago. When we blitz against the run, we're fairly effective, and we were able to get pressure on the quarterback the few times we pressured on passing situations on Saturday. So, more bullets in the gun certainly helps.
Coach, how different is the feeling this week, coming off a win and also getting ready for the first one?
Well, I hope not too different. I am that coach that does believe steady progress and keeping your guys grounded. But I've said that about this group since I've been here. They've come back to work every Sunday fairly grounded and not too high and not too low. And I think, it's always an awakening. You have a big win like that, and then you sit down in front of the film on Sunday, and they realize pretty quick they didn't play the perfect game, and there's a lot of improvement that can be made. And those are the teams that win in college football, are the ones that make steady progress throughout the year. So I think they should feel good about what they achieved. I think it lends some credibility to what we're doing in their minds, but at the same time, I think they all know that we've got a long way to go as a football team.
What were your thoughts on the offensive execution, first half to second half? It looked like it was a lot crisper in the second half, though it might have been a little more conservative.
toward the end of the first half, I thought really started to put it together. And again, execution is a good word to use, because there were a number of instances in that first half where we hurt ourselves offensively. And as those mistakes went away, so, our yardage started to appear, and we started to move the ball better. I think it was, toward the end of the first half where I felt like we started to put it together, and our guys really, that last scoring drive, or that scoring drive at the end of the first half, really gave us a confidence boost in the locker room. And I just remember saying to him, hey, look what you can do if you just execute the offense and do what you're coached to do. And I think they took the field with that confidence in the second half.
Coach, how are you responding to media headlines saying that the big win on Saturday was an upset?
I think it was an upset. We were 12-point underdogs, or 13. I'm not sure exactly what it was. And that's a school from a BCS, automatic qualifying conference. So I guess the media would call it an upset, and a lot of people would call it an upset. We felt like we matched up well with them, and we felt good about our chances, but we knew it would be a tough football game, and we talked about it being a 4-quarter game, especially with their conservative style of offense. We felt like for 4 quarters, we could hang in there and have a chance to win in the fourth quarter, and that's how we hoped the game would go.
How important was it to win a game in which you sort of took the other team's mentality and beat them with it? Because it looked like in the second half, you guys just decided they wanted to grind it out if they had a lead, and you decided you'd do the same thing and beat them with their own medicine.
Very satisfying. That's something that I thought we've worked hard to instill a physical mentality on this football team. And it doesn't always show when you're playing the spread teams and whatnot, but very proud of that, because we come a long way in our off-season program, our strength program, our conditioning. We felt like we were prepared to go 4 quarters, and I told him at halftime, hey, this is the kind of game that we've pointed towards since we've been here. The discipline we try to instill in our players, all the work we put in the off season, we're ready to go 4 quarters here. Let's go out and see if they are, and so it was very satisfying, and I love seeing it, because despite the way, everybody thinks college football is moving toward a finesse game because of the spread style of offense, but you can still be a physical football team and run the spread and defend the spread at the same time.
Were there areas where Quez made better improvements than others? What was his evaluation?
Well, I thought his decision making was much better. A lot of those the screens to Dan, his completions to Dan are his decision, whether to run the ball or get the ball out to Dan or throw it to the edge, and made good decisions in all those situations. Did exactly what we were calling for on the sideline. I thought running the football, a couple times he did pull it effectively, helps our running game, and because he's a threat on the edge, and if we just, if he'll make good decisions there and stretch a defense, it's a lot different defending an offense where the quarterback's willing to pull it and go than it is if you, as a coordinator, you have the mentality, well, he's not going to pull it, he's just going to hand it off, and really puts a lot of stress on the defense when he shows that willingness. And then when he does pull it, he's a tough physical runner, and he gets some tough yards. I cringe every time, but he seems to weather it okay.
Coach, let's go back to the home opener on Saturday. Is there maybe going to be an added energy knowing that the team's going to be playing in their home building, in front of their home fans, instead of 3 straight weeks on the road?
I hope so. I think they're ready to come home. I think we're all tired of traveling right now, and I hope there's an energy there. We've worked hard as an athletic department to really promote this game and get fans out, and I think the win on Saturday is going to help that as well. So I think there will be good energy, and hopefully we can feed off that.
What have you guys done? When you say work hard, what have you guys done?
The athletic department?
Yeah.
I don't know, selling season tickets, promoting it on campus. Coach or Mr. Chun and I spent all evening last night on campus visiting with all the Greek groups and student organizations, and really beating the drum hard to get the students out and get our fans interested in this game.
Carol, that's been a point here, and I know when you came in, you saw that. How important is that in the development of a program? Everybody looks at a program, you see wins and losses, see things on the field, but to get that fan base, this program had was at a disadvantage for so many years, not playing so far away. So I guess it's going to take time, and just how that development is important. So,
well, number one, you have to put a product on the field that and play some exciting football that fans are going to want to come see. That's the first thing. Second thing, you're right. I mean, for years they didn't have an on-campus stadium, and now that we do, we've got to create traditions, make game day something people wake up on Saturday knowing what they're going to do. And that doesn't happen overnight. Not only are we a relatively new football program, but even new in terms of having a stadium here that the students can walk across the street and go to, and that wasn't always the case. So it's all habit, and if you look at how consumers act, it's all habit, and they're not used to waking up and coming to a tailgate and going to the game, and so it's a twofold thing. You got to work hard to reach out to the community, especially the student body. That's where we have to start. I want to get all of our on-campus students at our games, and if we can do that, what a great beginning. And it's really the students in most stadium that create the game day atmosphere and that create the excitement and makes it a more enjoyable experience for the other people who aren't so closely associated with the university to attend the game. And then we have to do our part by putting a quality product on the field. I believe that if we do all those three things, then we can create a game day atmosphere here that can rival other teams in our conference.
Do you have a goal in mind for how many people attend?
No, I don't. I don't think much about that, Chuck. That's for other people to worry about. I worry about putting the best team on the field that I can.
Does that, the efforts you were talking about getting people to come out, does that kind of stop today and then it's all game prep from here? How do you
No, I mean, I don't know. Anything I can do to help, and the athletic department will reach out to me at times and say, hey, will you talk to this group or that group? Or, I'm willing to do anything I can to promote this program. And I think that's, my job is two-pronged. Number one is to coach these guys as best as I can, and number two is to promote this program and build it on that end. So willing to do anything I can.
through your years, what's your feeling on noon versus night games, or I don't know.
Well, I've never done a noon game down here, and I know it'll be a little warmer, but I think that's to our advantage. We practice in the mornings, and our guys are used to playing out in that heat and humidity, and would hope that would be to our advantage. I've always been a fan of the early games in college football. That Big Ten game we played at 11 a.m. was a little too early for me, but between noon and 2 starts, that's what I like, and you get up, get moving, and go play a football game, and that's the schedule I like. And when the TV asked us to do that, I was all for it.
You talk about the preparations for maybe a noon game, an early morning game to a night game. What are some of the differences preparing for a noon game or rather than a 7 o'clock game?
Oh, it's different. We do the same things, we just do them at different times. For a night game, we have a long meeting, unit meeting, the day of the game. That meeting will happen Friday night now. Other than that, not much different. We'll have a walkthrough, at the same time on Friday. We'll have a long meeting Friday night. Special teams will be moved to Friday night, and then Saturday really are for the players to wake up and get themselves ready. We might have a quick 15-minute position meeting that day, but when you're playing at noon, you got to kind of get up and go. And so all of our prep stuff will be moved to Friday night.
As an old D-line coach, you got to be pretty pleased with your goal line stands. It seems like you had at least one of those short yardage things. What are you doing so well in those?
Nothing. They're playing physical, Chuck. I mean, no special calls. We didn't pressure. We really played good base defense, and that's been true for all those stands all year. It's hard for an offense to move the ball, down in the red zone because they can't stretch your defense at all, and so it just comes down to their blocking and us getting off blocks, and our guys take pride in that and turn it up a notch, and have defended the run very well down there in the red zone.
It seems like, I think you probably always expect to have success there, but it seems like you're having an unusual amount of success in those 1 yard, give or take.
I think so. I think probably fairly unusual for, if you look at college football week to week and the success offenses have down inside the 5. But I think part of that is we're growing up as a D-line. It all starts there. And the other thing to me is that rotation up front helps us so much. And we can throw fresh bodies out there. And after that offense has had a long drive down the field and expended some energy, that we can throw fresh bodies out there. And, it gives us a better chance, gives us a chance down there.
What does the tape of Middle Tennessee say that you guys have to do this week to defend that offense?
Well, they spread you out and they run the ball extremely effectively. They got a really good running back, and in Parker, we've got to find a way to stop him. But it starts for them up front. That's as good an offensive line as we will have faced this year. Certainly after last year's game, I felt like it was one of the better offensive lines we faced last year as well. Quarterback is very, very efficient with the ball, throws the ball really well, very accurate, doesn't make many mistakes, got a lot of experience. But I do believe it starts with their running game. When they're running the game effectively, they'll spread you out, and if they force you to bring a bunch of guys down in the box, they're good. They can throw the ball well enough and throw the ball to hurt you. So very balanced offense, which makes them very difficult to defend.
When it comes to preparing to defend them, and even offensively, does the familiarity help? I know that things change over the course of the year. It's been more than a year since you played them, but this is one of the familiar opponents that you have.
Yeah, it's funny is this the first time this year, I think, that we've actually been able to watch a film from last year to look at how they attacked us and whatnot. But so we spent a little bit of time doing that, but but we're different than we were, and they're a little different as well. But certainly gives us an idea of how they'll look to attack us.
Do you consider that an advantage on your side, that offensively you guys are significantly different than you would have been last year? I think that was the second game last year. You were still trying to figure out Graham versus Curtis and all that. There's definitely a stark offensive difference last year to this year.
I think so, and I think for Brian and the offensive staff, it'll, looking at how they, it's not going to do us a lot of good to look at last year's tape. It's more a matter of looking at their other games and finding offenses that are more similar to who we are now, and I know they're working hard to do that.
Can you win consistently throwing for less than 100 yards, or is that really what you need to improve the passing game?
No, I don't think you can win consistently throwing for less than 100 yards. But I do believe in balance, and I believe in taking what the defense is giving you. So, I think you can win when you take advantage of what the defense is giving you. And I think there will be times you win games throwing for less than 100 yards, and I think there will be times you win games running for less than 100 yards. And, I go back to, BYU, Texas 2 weeks ago and watching that game, and I don't know what they threw for, but it had to be, right at about 100 yards, but they ran for 300 plus. And you're going to have those games, and then you're going to have the games where a team runs for 100 and throws for 350. So we have to be able to, that's the one thing is, our offense needs to be versatile. We need to be able to run the ball. We need to be able to throw the ball. And we need to be able to take advantage of what we see on the field. And we're not quite there yet, but we're moving in that direction, and we keep getting better. I think we'll have a nice little balanced offense here fairly soon.
Is the rotation done? And if so, how do you?
I hate to say that. I just hate to say that because those are decisions we make on a daily basis. But right now, going into the South Florida game, we felt like Quez's maturity, his decision-making, his ability to manage the offense gave us the best chance of winning that game. And I just think that'll be a week week-to-week decision as we move through this season.
Are you gonna make a concerted effort to try and get Hankerson maybe a series or two each week to keep his development?
Oh, we talked about that, and we did, and so that's still a possibility that's on the table.
What could Hankerson do to leap over Quez onto?
I think make good decisions out here on the practice field, and that allow the inconsistency to go away, and like I said, I think our decision to go with Quez had a lot to do with his maturity and his ability to run the offense. And I think as Greg begins to show those same signs, it'll give him a chance, obviously, to earn some playing time again. So I just think, we evaluate every day, every position, and I know coaches say that, but really when you're as close at a position as we think we are there, you have to do that. And I think just each week we're going to evaluate who we think gives us the best chance of winning the game.
When Brian explained, was breaking down how the rotation kind of had come to an end and that they were going to pick a quarterback at the time, we didn't know it was Quez. It was more to the effect of Greg wasn't able to translate his practice field ability onto the field, that the bright lights might have been getting to him too much and he was losing his composure out there and not executing as he needed to do that. If that was something that you guys were trying to strive for and trying to eliminate the mistakes on a week-by-week basis, have you reformulated the plan at all when dealing with him going forward, because he won't be getting those same snaps?
No, I mean, you really can't, because you still got to prepare your football team for the game. I think, you can say that there were more mistakes on game day than we were seeing at practice, but I've always felt like for one mistake you see at practice, you're going to see 3 in a game. And so as those mistakes disappear at practice as well, even though there aren't as many of them, certainly that gives you, as a coaching staff, a lot more confidence in a kid. And so there will continue to be evaluation of his play out here.